Hi guys, I'm just going to do a quick video on the 7 churches. I just need to open that up quickly. In the book of Revelation. This is not going to be a very in-depth video, it's just like a more of a common sense video where you need to read the Bible to understand what is actually being said. That all the things that you are being taught concerning the book of Revelation, most of the people believe it's a futuristic book. And, okay, there we go, I can see the little bit of notes I have. Now you have to ask yourself, if this book is futuristic, does the following things make sense? Okay. So, firstly, the 7 churches, 7 is the number of rest. God rested on the 7th day. So it speaks of the finished work and of completion. So in terms of the unveiling of Christ, the revelation of Christ, it speaks of the temple, that the most holy place, the curtain was torn, that was the unveiling, which is a past event in the first place, but in terms of the cross, it speaks of a finished work. That is why Jesus said, it is finished. He fulfilled the law, so he finished the law, fulfilled the requirements of the law, and issued in a New Testament. So I'm just quickly going to go through the 7 churches, very basic, just for you to get an understanding, is it future or is it past? So the first church is the church in Ephesus. Now this is just like a topical reading. We're just going to look at what it says straightforward, no in-depth teaching. Every time with every single church, it says, for he who overcomes. Okay. Every church, it does the same thing. So in Ephesus, it says, Revelation 2 verse 7, he who is able to hear, let him listen and give heed to what the Spirit says to the assemblies. To him who overcomes, I will grant to eat of the fruit of the tree of life, which is in the paradise of God. Okay. So now, the question here is, can we eat today of the tree of life? Most of you should know that Jesus is the tree of life. A tree speaks of a mindset. So the mind of Christ is the tree of life. It's the thoughts of God. So we can freely eat from this tree. That is the whole purpose of the cross. Now the point here being, if it says to the church, for him that overcomes, but now they are teaching you that this is a futuristic book. That apparently the church needs to be raptured first, and then there's a tribulation, and there's a war, and then lots of nonsense. And then there's a new heaven and earth, and then only can you eat from the tree of life. But because of the New Testament, we know we can already eat from the tree of life. How can this then be a futuristic verse? If I put everything in context, and apparently after the 4th chapter the church is raptured, which is very funny, but how then can they how can they now already eat from the tree of life if this thing, according to the church, has not happened yet? So that is what you have to ask yourself. If it hasn't happened, it's most impossible for me to eat from the tree of life, but I know that I can. So the same thing is with all the churches. Revelation 2:11, the church in Smyrna, I mustn't pronounce these names. He who is able to hear, let him listen and heed what the Spirit says to the assemblies. He who overcomes, is victorious, shall in no way be injured by the second death. Okay, that's a bit more difficult to explain. It's not difficult to explain, it's difficult to understand. I'm just going to put it short and sweet. Death was the time when Adam and Eve decided to eat from the knowledge of good and evil, which caused a spiritual death. That was the first death. The second death was when Jesus died upon the cross for all mankind. Now, when we go through all those extra verses about the lake of fire and brimstone, all these nice things, you will see the second death. And it was always in Revelation, it was always about the unveiling of Jesus, it was always about the cross. So the second death already took place 2,000 years ago. Now, if you were to understand that, once again, with the second church, it means it cannot be a futuristic event. Okay. Third church, to the church in Pergamum, Revelation 2:17. He who is able to hear, let him listen and heed what the Spirit says to the assemblies. To him who overcomes, I will give to eat of the manna that is hidden, and I will give him a white stone with a name engraved on the stone, which no one knows or understands except he who receives it. Okay, so the hidden manna in the wilderness of Christ, and now it's the same thing as eating from the his secrets for his kings to find. Its most holy place understanding, already available because of the cross. So also not a future event. The new name you will see later in this chapter as well, but there's another new name. The Lord is my righteousness. And you will find that in the Old Testament as well, that it will be the new name that we receive. We receive the past tense. Okay, fourth church, the church in Thyatira, something like that. Revelation 2:26. He who overcomes and is victorious, who obeys my commands to the very end. Now we don't have those commands anymore, but let's go further. Doing the works that please me, I will give him authority and power over the nations. He shall rule them with a scepter of iron, and when the earthen pots are broken into pieces, and his power over them shall be like that which I myself have received from my Father. And I will give him the morning star. Okay, so you will receive the same power as Christ, which is to rule over nations with a rod of iron. But we have received the mind of Christ, and also the morning star is a picture of Christ, which we also have received, for he is the morning star. So once again, cannot be a future thing if we already have it. This should just make sense to you. It's not a hidden mystery. If you know you have Christ, you know it cannot be a future event. Simple as that. Okay, there's the next one. Church in Sardis. Revelation 3 verse 5. Thus shall he who conquers be clad in white garments. Okay, why white garments? Because when Jesus died on the cross, he washed us all, once and for all. You can study Hebrews. Okay, and I will not ease or blot out his name from the book of life. I will acknowledge him as my own, and I will confess his name openly before my Father and before his angels. So you have to study Hebrews, Galatians, Ephesians, Colossians, Romans, to understand what happened, that you were cleansed once and for all and seated in heavenly places. Okay, your name is written in the book of life. Past tense. You're not trying to get it done. It is the gift of God that did it for you. As you believe in this gift, it will set you free from the curse of the law or your flesh. Okay, so once again, not a future event. None of these are future events, but let's go through them. Revelation 3 verse 12. He who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the sanctuary of my God. He shall never be put out or go out of it. And I will write on him the name of God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which descends from God out of heaven, and my own new name. Okay, so once again, we'll get to Revelation 19. The city of the New Jerusalem is actually a picture of the bride, is a picture of the church. New Jerusalem also means new life. If you study Galatians, you will see our mother who is from above, the New Jerusalem. We are also from above. We are seated in heaven. So we are this city, the New Jerusalem, a city set upon a hill. It's not something that's going to happen in the natural. It is something that took place in the spirit, showing you as the new creation. Okay, so also a past event. Then the last church. He who overcomes, I will grant to sit beside me on the throne. I myself overcame and sat down beside my Father. Now you can read Ephesians 2. It says you are seated in heaven right now. You are not trying to get there. You are there. So if you read the Bible in the natural, you are trying to get to heaven like most people. If you read it in the Spirit, or you just read it for that matter, it says you are already seated in heaven. So once again, fulfilling what was said there, if you overcome, you will be seated. He overcame for you and as you. Then he seated you in heaven with him next to the Father, in terms of pictures. So it is past tense, not future tense. All of these 7 speak of a finished work, the finished work of Christ. Not a future doom and gloom and nonsense that you've been taught. Go read it for yourself and see everything is available to you ready already. If you're not sure, ask me. I'll give you the scripture. I guarantee you it's in there. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll chat soon. Cheers. Oh my goodness, I was put off the other there. There we go.